Hey everyone, it's Strange Michael. I hope you're doing well today. I have a review for a 2018 found footage film that I heard about 2 years ago when I was on a big found footage kick, and I really got into it. I found things like Antrum, the deadliest film ever made, which is one of my scariest films of all time. I did a review for that on the channel, by the way. The Fear footage has 2 sequels, and I plan on talking about all of them before I do the Hellraiser series reviews, and I wanted to get them out of the way. I just watched both movies, the first 2 at least, back to back this past weekend, and I thought I would watch 3 here soon before I do the Hellraiser reviews. And I remember always liking this so much when I saw it for the first time years ago. Again, right before my wedding, as a matter of fact. Within like 2 weeks of my wedding, I saw this. And I really loved it. Part 2 was even better. I still think Part 2 is probably the best of the entire series. But I can't wait to rewatch 3 and see what I really think. This is more of an anthology movie with just one director, so I guess it's whatever you want to call that. It's basically an anthology film. The Fear footage, right here, and I love this package that you get it in when you order the Blu-rays. And I haven't bought 3 yet. I've rented it, I watched it, but I haven't bought it. I don't think it was available to buy when I saw it. But the second one comes in like a black evidence bag too. That's pretty cool. But this one has this little thing right here. It's very neat. I really like that. When you open let me try that again. When you open up this little Blu-ray case, you also have like a poster in here, and you have a disc that has blood fingertip painting stuff on it. It's so neat. It's so homemade, and I love that about it. The Fear footage, to me, with this little cassette tape down here, is such a great concept, and I think it's one of the very few found footage movies that I think the wraparound, like VHS 1, I think the wraparound might be the best thing about the entire film. It's kind of low budget. Ricky Umberger wrote this and directed it. I don't think you probably know him. Most people don't. He's only done the Fear footage movies so far. I find it to be very, very solid. I really, really find it to be a very solid film, above average, but that low budget part of it harms it a little bit. Mainly with this movie, not so much with Part 2, called Fear footage 2, I don't know what the title of that movie is, I'm sorry, but this particular one is harmed by the lower budget a lot of the time, and I'll get to those moments later on, but we'll just kind of generally talk about the concept and some of the story a little bit. There are 3 short films inside of this wraparound story. The Fear footage is essentially about a police 911 dispatcher, whatever, getting a call from a guy who's walking his dog saying, hey, this house that burnt down in our neighborhood has all of a sudden shown back up. It looks brand new, like it had always been here. And I don't know what's going on with this. I need you guys to come out and look at this because we're all kind of scared in the neighborhood by this. And the police come out, basically this one guy, I think his name is Leo Cole. They send him out there as a standalone police officer. He goes to the house and he goes inside, and it's a very scary house. I've been in houses just like this in real life, and like the same format, same layout, everything. You take a right at the top of the stairs as soon as you walk in, and you know there's like the living room and the kitchen all blended together into one big room. Nice house, but that house in general, the way it's utilized for this movie, is so scary. It's so scary, it's so intimidating. The directing on that part as a found footage movie is really scary. And by the way, the found footage that we're seeing is from Mr. Leo Cole, the police officer's, I assume it's the chest cam, the body cam, whatever. And as he's walking around with his flashlight in the dark, there's no power, he has his gun pulled, he's trying to make sure that no one's going to jump out and try to kill him. He's going from room to room, basically, throughout the house, and every once in a while he does certain things in the house investigating, the TV in the living room will come on, there'll be static on the TV, and there's a VCR beside it with a cassette tape sticking out, a VHS tape, not a cassette tape. Well, I guess it's called a VHS cassette. Oh well. It's sticking out, and it'll say the Fear footage on the spine of it, just like how this one says that right there, Fear footage, just like that. Now, he'll push it in, and it'll play a video, and this happens 3 different times throughout the movie of Leo Cole investigating, TV comes on, he watches the new tape, and for some reason he sits through the entire thing. I assume we're supposed to be watching it through the body cam, but it's not filmed that way, which is good. That would be very distracting, hearing Leo Cole breathe the whole time. Anyway, the first story we have is about a kid. The night before his birthday party, he got a camera for his birthday, and he is scared by the reports on the news about clowns. Back in 2016, this was an issue. Remember that? When the Stephen King It movie was about to come out? Well, it might have been 2014. I was thinking 2014, 2016 was when that happened. Anyway, he starts to see a clown in his backyard, and he's scared that the clown might have gotten inside of the house. He keeps waking his mom up and stuff, and this one has a little bit of humor to it. It's a little goofy, though. If I had to bet, this is probably the first thing that Mr. Umberger actually ever filmed as a short film. It's eerie, don't get me wrong. It has some eeriness to it. There's some good moments in here that I really like. But for the most part, it's kind of weak. One of the worst things about this one, this is the worst standout in the entire film in my opinion, is there's a rain effect that's supposed to happen. It's basically supposed to look like it's raining outside, and the ground's not wet, the deck outside is not wet, but when the rain is falling, it looks okay, and then another shot happens where the character is looking through the blinds out the window, and the rain is falling in front of the blinds, as in like not outside, as in like the camera is behind the blinds, the rain is right here between the camera and the blinds. It's so goofy, and I laughed out loud this time and the last time I watched this for the first time then about that. It's always stood out to me as one of the things that's probably the worst part of this entire film, and that's not a bad thing because the rest of the film is relatively fun, it's relatively watchable. The second story in here that we have is basically a bunch of guys going on a small trip, and they break down. Well, they didn't break down, actually. They hit a guy. Sorry, I forgot about that. They hit a guy. They get out of the car. These guys in black cloaks walk up to them and shoot one of them and kill him immediately on the spot. And the other two go on a run inside of kind of like a drainage system type of thing, but not like underground. It's just kind of tucked away in the woods, which, again, that found footage feel, that atmosphere really, really works for this. The running around down there is creepy. Really creepy, as a matter of fact. I kind of wish it had just ended with one of the people stranded in there by themselves. They couldn't find a way out. It does not end that way. It gets a little bit too supernatural in a bad way, a little too goofy in some ways of that too. And the third story in here is about a fellow who is being accused by his, I think it's his wife, I believe. He's being accused of being on drugs. And the wife or whatever took the daughter and ran away. And she's trying to basically get a divorce from him, or come back maybe when he ever is not on drugs. He swears up and down he's not, but he starts to hear and see things in the woods outside of his apartment. And I think that guy gave the best performance of the entire movie. Hands down, aside from the guy playing Leo Cole, the police officer walking through the house, I think this guy in this short did a really great job, and he's actually the main character in the next movie. You know, it's kind of a different type of movie than this. Fear Footage 2 and 3 are not found footage movies, and that's great. I'm really glad because they're way better than what this film is a lot of the time. As watchable and fun as I think this is and how creepy this can be. One thing I noticed this time around more so, is this movie has a lot of jump scares. And they're not even like just things popping out at you in the shorts or anything like that. It's the sound effects. You will have complete quiet, and it's scary, it's tense, and then all of a sudden a loud bang noise with nothing on the screen. And it's effective, but it's cheap, and I think it's dumb, frankly. There's a lot of that in here. A lot of that. And I think people, for the most part, are not going to like this movie as much as I did. You could probably skip this and jump straight to 2 and 3 if you wanted to. But for me, as a completionist, I just recommend watching everything. I think that all of this, for the most part, is really entertaining and really fun. But that police in the house thing is really fun. I like that part. It's the best part of the movie for me. Even though I think the third short is the best of the 3 shorts in the movie. The wraparound of that third short really make this worth watching, and there are elements of the first 2 shorts that are solid enough that I think that really make those worthwhile watching too. And this movie overall is like an hour and 10 minutes, so all those segments are about 15 minutes apiece, aside from the wraparound, so it's not much. You're not sitting through your typical hour and a half to 2 hour long anthology like Tales of Halloween, which had a way higher budget than this. But anyway, when it comes to the Fear Footage, I think it's mostly very solid. The characters are okay in it. The writing is decent, it's not really the best. It has its moments, it's really solid for the most part, and I think it's fairly watchable. Again, the directing and all that's a little bit of its own issue a lot of the time. The CGI rain is hysterical. It's always going to be one of my favorite bad movie moments ever, even though I don't consider this a bad movie. There's not really any music in here either, so that kind of adds to that found footage feel. Adds that silence. It's nice. I like it. Even something as simple as the creaking of a house can be scary, and I like how this film utilizes that. And to me, Ricky Umberger going from this to 2 and 3, he really, really improved as a filmmaker. There are moments in this that are not jump scares that scared the shit out of me this time around too. It scared me the first time and it scared me this time. Anyway, if I had to rate the Fear Footage, the original movie, on a 5-star basis, I would probably give this about a 3 out of 5 stars, and I think it's right at that point. It has some major flaws, it has some issues, the stories are kind of weak, but to me it deserves at least a 3 out of 5. I think it's very watchable, very fun, and I like this whole evidence bag thing. That's too neat for a physical media collector. Anyway, have you seen the Fear footage 1, 2, and 3? What do you think about these? What are your rankings on them? I am gonna rank these, by the way, before I start up my Hellraiser series reviews or whatever. The Fear footage is one of my favorite found footage series because of Fear footage 2. I think it's great as a movie. What did you think about this? Put your thoughts and comments down below if you've seen this movie. Are you going to watch it based on my review? I would love to be the person who introduced you to the Fear footage. Even as a low-budget found footage series, these are really effective in a lot of really cool ways. Just try to make it through this first film and try to understand that 3 is not going to be as good as 2. Really. But overall, I really enjoy it and I really recommend it. Have you seen Fear footage? Put it down in the comment section down below. What do you think about this movie or this series? Thank you for watching, guys. God bless you all, and goodbye.